Now, this is the account of why, in the faraway, a new chariot's place was built, and the love of Dumuzi and Inanna that Marduk by Dumuzi's death disrupted. It was after the contesting of Haran and Setu and their aerial battle over Til Moon that Enlil his 3 sons to a council summoned. With concern to them of what was happening, he said, "In the beginning, the earthlings in our image and after our likeness we made. Now the Anunnaki offspring in the image and likeness of the earthlings became. Then it was Cain who his brother killed. Now a son of Marduk is his brother's killer. For the first time ever, an Anunnaki offspring from earthlings an army raised. Weapons from a metal of the Anunnaki a secret in their hands he placed. From the days when by Alalu and Anzu our legitimacy was challenged, disruption and rule breaking by the Ajiji continued. Now the beacon peaks in the domain of Marduk are located. The landing place by the Ijiji is held. Now toward the place of the chariots the Ijiji are advancing. In the name of Setu, to all heaven-earth facilities they claim will lay. So did Enlil to his 3 sons say. To take counter steps to them he proposed. An alternative heaven-earth facility in secret establish we must. Let it in Ninurta's land beyond the oceans, in the midst of trusted earthlings, come to be. Thus was the secret mission in the hands of Ninurta entrusted. In the mountain lands beyond the oceans, beside the great lake, a new bond heaven earth he was setting up. Within an enclosure he placed it. At the foot of the mountains, where the gold nuggets were scattered, a plain with firm ground he chose. On it for ascent and descent markings he made. Primitive are the facilities, but the purpose they will serve. So did Ninurta to his father Enlil in good time declare. From there, gold shipments to Nibiru can continue. From there, in need, we too can ascend. At that time, what as a blessed event began, as a horrible occurrence ended. At that time, Dumuzi, Enki's youngest son, to Inanna, Nanar's daughter, a liking took. Inanna, Enlil's granddaughter, by the Lord of Herding was captivated. A love that knows no bounds engulfed them, a passion their hearts inflamed. Many of the love songs that for a long time thereafter were sung, Inanna and Dumuzi were the first to sing them. By song, their love they recounted. To Dumuzi, his youngest son, Enki, a large domain above the Abzu allotted. Meluha, the Black Land, was its name. Highland trees there grew, its waters abundant were. Large bulls among its river reeds roamed, greatly numbered were its cattle. Silver from its mountains came, its copper bright as gold was it glitter. Greatly beloved was Dumuzi. By Enki, after the death of Asar, he was favored. Of his youngest brother, Marduk was jealous. Inanna, by her parents, Nanar and Ningal, was beloved. Enlil by her cradle sat. Beautiful beyond description she was. In martial arts with Anunnaki heroes she competed. Of journeys in the heavens and of celestial boats from her brother Utu she learned. A skyship of her own to roam in earth's skies to her the Anunnaki presented. After the deluge, on the landing platform, Dumuzi and Inanna, their eyes on each other set. At the dedication of the artificed mounts was between them a warm encounter. Hesitant at first they were, he of Enki's clan, she of Enlil, an offspring. When Nanarsag for peace the disputing clans together brought, Inanna and Dumuzi away from the others to be together managed. Love to each other they professed. As they went strolling together, sweet words of alluring love to each other they said. Side by side they lay down, one heart with the other heart chatted. Around her waist Dumuzi put his arm, like a wild bull to take her he wished. Let me teach you, to Inanna, Dumuzi said. Gently she kissed him, then to him of her mother she spoke. What fib could I tell my mother? What words will you tell Ningal? Let us of our love my mother tell, of joy cedar perfume she will on us sprinkle. To the dwelling place of Ningal, Inanna's mother, the lovers went. To them Ningal her blessing gave. Of Dumuzi, the mother of Inanna, approved. Lord Dumuzi, as a son-in-law of Nanar, you are worthy, to him she said. Dumuzi as a bridegroom by Nanar himself was welcomed. Inanna's brother, Utu, let it so be, said. Perchance the espousing peace between the clans truly will bring, Enlil to them all said. When of the love and betrothal Dumuzi to his father and brothers spoke, Inki of peace through espousal also was thinking. His blessings to Dumuzi he gave. Dumuzi's brothers, all except Marduk, about the espousal were joyful. A betrothal bed of gold by Gibel was fashioned. Nergal, blue-hued lapis stones sent. Sweet dates, a fruit by Inanna favored, beside the bed they in a pile placed. Under the fruits the beads of lapis they hid for Inanna to discover. As the custom was, to perfume and clothe Inanna, a sister of Dumuzi was sent. Geshtinanna, a sister-in-law to be, was her name. To her, Inanna, what was in her heart revealed, of her future with Dumuzi, to her she said, A vision of a great nation I have, as the great Anunnaki Dumuzi there will rise. His name over others shall be exalted, his queen spouse I shall be. Princely status we will share, rebellious countries we shall together subdue. To Dumuzi I will status give, the country I will rightly direct. Inanna's visions of rulership and glory by Geshtinanna to her brother Marduk were reported. By Inanna's ambitions Marduk was greatly disturbed. To Geshtinanna a secret plan he told. To her brother Dumuzi, to the herder's dwelling, Geshtinanna went. Lovely to behold and perfumed, to her brother Dumuzi thus she said, Before with your young wife in your embrace with you will sleep, a legitimate heir by a sister born you must have. Inanna's son to succession shall not be entitled, on your mother's knees he will not be raised. She put his hands in her hand. She pressed her body against his body. My brother, with you I will lie down. Bridegroom, with you a peer of Inki we shall have. So did Geshtinanna to Dumuzi whisper, a noble issue from her womb to have. Into her womb Dumuzi poured the semen. By her caressing he fell asleep. During the night Dumuzi had a dream, a premonition of death he envisioned. In the dream, 7 evil bandits he saw coming into his dwelling. The master has sent us for you, son of Dutur, to him they said. They chased away his ewes, his lambs and kids they drove away. The headdress of lordship they took off his head. The royal robe off his body they tore. The staff of shepherding they took and broke. His cup from its peg they threw down. Naked and barefooted they seized him. In fetters they his hands bound. In the name of the princely bird and the falcon they left him dying. Disturbed and startled, Dumuzi in the middle of the night awoke. To Geshtinanna the dream he told. The dream is not favorable, Geshtinanna to the distraught Dumuzi said. Marduk of raping me will accuse you. Evil emissaries to arrest you he will send. To try you and disgrace you he will order. The liaison with an Enlilite to disunite. As a wounded beast, Dumuzi a cry roared out. Betrayal! Betrayal! He shouted. To Utu, Inanna's brother, help me! Word he sent. The name of his father Enki as a talesman he uttered. Through the desert of Emush, the snake's desert, Dumuzi rushed to escape. To the place of mighty waterfalls, from the evildoers he ran to hide. Where the gushing waters the rocks to slippery smoothness made, Dumuzi slipped and fell. The onrushing waters his lifeless body in a white froth swept away. Now this is the account of Inanna's descent to the lower Abzu, and the great Anunnaki war, and how Marduk in the Ikur, alive, was imprisoned. When the lifeless body of Dumuzi from the Great Lakes waters by Ninagal was retrieved, to the abode of Nergal and Ereshkigal in the lower Abzu the body was brought. On a stone slab was the dead body of Dumuzi, a son of Enki, placed. When of what had happened word to Enki was sent, Enki rent his clothes. On his forehead he put ashes. My son, for Dumuzi he lamented. What have I sinned to be so punished? Out loud he asked. When I to earth from Nibiru came, Ea, he whose home is waters, was my name. With waters did the celestial chariots obtain their thrust power. In waters I splashed down. Then by an avalanche of waters the earth was swept over. In waters did Asar, my grandchild, drown. By waters my beloved Dumuzi is now dead. Everything I had done, for righteous purpose did I do it. Why am I punished? Why has fate against me turned? So did Enki bewail and lament. When from Inanna the veracity of occurrences was discovered, greater was Enki's agony. Now Marduk, my firstborn, for his deed will also suffer. By the disappearance and the death of Dumuzi was Inanna worried, then grieved. Then to the lower Abzu she hurried, Dumuzi's body for burial to retrieve. When Ereshkigal, her sister, of the arrival of Inanna at the precinct's gates was told, Ereshkigal a devious scheme on the part of Inanna suspected. At each of the 7 gates, one of Inanna's accoutrements and weapons was from her removed. Then, unclothed and powerless before Ereshkigal's throne, of scheming in air by Nergal, Dumuzi's brother, she was accused. Trembling with fury, Ereshkigal to her sister's explanations would not listen. Let loose against her the 60 diseases, Ereshkigal, her vizier, Namtar, in anger ordered. By the disappearance of Inanna in the lower Abzu were her parents much worried. Nanar to Enlil in the matter went. Enlil to Enki a message sent. From Nergal, his son, Ereshkigal's spouse, Enki what had happened learned. From clay of the Abzu, Enki 2 emissaries fashioned, beings without blood, by death rays unharmed. To the lower Abzu he sent them, Inanna to bring back, whether alive or dead. When before Ereshkigal they came, Ereshkigal by their appearance was puzzled. Are you Anunnaki? Are you earthlings? With bewilderment she asked them. Namtar, the magical weapons of power against them directed, but unharmed the 2 were. To the lifeless body of Inanna he took them. Hanging from a stake she was. Upon the corpse the clay emissaries, a pulsar and an emitter directed. Then the water of life on her they sprinkled. In her mouth the plant of life they placed. Then Inanna stirred. Her eyes she opened. From the dead Inanna arose. When the 2 emissaries, Inanna to the upper world, were ready to return, Inanna, the lifeless body of Dumuzi, to take along them ordered. At the 7 gates of the lower Abzu, to Inanna her accoutrements and attributes were returned. To the abode of Dumuzi in the Black Land, the lover of her youth, to take the emissaries she ordered. There to wash him with pure water, with sweet oil him anoint. Then to clothe him in a red shroud, upon a slab of lapis lazuli lay him. Then in the rocks for him a rest place carve out, the day of arising there to await. As for herself, to the abode of Enki Inanna set her steps. Retribution for her beloved's death she wanted, the death of Marduk, the culprit, she demanded. There has been death enough, Enki to her said. Marduk an instigator was, but murder he committed not. When Inanna learned that Marduk would not by Enki be punished, Inanna to her parents and brother went. To high heaven she a wailing raised. Justice, revenge, death to Marduk, she cried for. At Enlil's abode, his sons, Inanna and Utu, joined. For a council of war they gathered. Ninurta, whom the rebel Anzu defeated, for strong measures argued. Of secret words between Marduk and the Ajiji exchanged. Utu to them reported, of Marduk an evil serpent, earth must be rid. Enlil with them agreed. When the demand for Marduk's surrender to Enki his father was sent, Enki to his abode, Marduk and all the other sons summoned. Though for my beloved Dumuzi I am still grieving, Marduk's rights I must defend. Though evil did Marduk instigate, by ill fate, not by Marduk's hand, did Dumuzi die. Marduk is my firstborn, Ninki is his mother, for succession he is destined. From death by Ninurta's gang, by us all he must be protected. So did Enki say. Only Gibel and Ninagal their father's call heeded. Ningishzida was opposed. Nergal was hesitant. Only if in mortal danger he will be, I will help, he said. It was after that a war of ferocity unknown between the two clans erupted. Unlike the contending of Haran and Setu, of earthlings descended, it was a battle between Anunnaki. Nibirian born among them on another planet was loosed. By Inanna was the warfare begun. In her skyship to the domains of Enki's sons she crossed over. Marduk to battle she challenged. To the domains of Ninagal and Gibel she him pursued. To assist her, Ninurta from his storm bird, withering beams at the enemy's strongholds shot. Ishkur from the skies with scorching lightnings and smashing thunders attacked. In the Abzu from the rivers fish he washed away, cattle in the fields he dispersed. To the north, the place of the artificed mounts, Marduk then retreated. Pursuing him, Ninurta on the habitations, poison-bearing missiles rained. His weapon that tears apart, the people in those lands robbed their senses. The canals that the river's water bore, red from blood became. Ishkur's brilliances, the night's darkness into flaming days converted. As the devastating battles northward advanced, Marduk in the Ikur himself ensconced. Gibel for it an unseen shield devised. Nergal to heaven its all-seeing eye raised. With a weapon of brilliance, by a horn directed, Inanna the hiding place attacked. Horan to defend his grandfather came. By her brilliance was his right eye damaged. While Utu the Ajiji and their horde of earthlings beyond till moon held off, at the foot of the artifice mounts Anunnaki, this and that clan supporting, in battle clashed. Let Marduk surrender, let the bloodshed end, so did Enlil to Enki words convey. Let brother talk to Enki Ninarsag a message sent. In his hideout, within the Ikur, Marduk his pursuers to defy continued. Within the house which is like a mountain, in his final stand he made. Inanna the massive stone structure could not surmount. Its smooth sides her weapons deflected. Then Ninurta of the secret entrance learned. The swivel stone on the north side he found. Through a dark corridor Ninurta passed. the grand gallery he reached. Its vault, by the many-hued emissions of the crystals like a rainbow, was aglitter. Inside, by the intrusion alerted, Marduk with ready weapons Ninurta awaited. With weapons responding, smashing the wonder crystals, Ninurta up the gallery kept going. Into the upper chamber, the place of the great pulsating stone, Marduk retreated. At its entrance, Marduk the sliding stone locks lowered. From one and all admission they barred. Into the Akur, Inanna, and Ishkar, Ninurta followed. What next to do they contemplated. Let the encased hiding chamber be Marduk's stone coffin, to them Ishkar said. To 3 blocking stones, ready for downgliding, Ishkar their attention drew. Let slow death, by alive being buried, be Marduk's sentence. Inanna her consent gave. At the end of the gallery, the 3 blocking stones let loose. Each one of them, 1 stone for plugging, slid down. Marduk, as in a tomb, to seal.